Hello, hello. Hey, what's up, KC fan and Thumper? So right now, they should be starting up in the next about 5 minutes or so, and this is gonna be Arizona Superior Night Court, which is located in Maricopa County. It's scheduled to start at 10 p.m., which is in 5 minutes or so. Let me see. All right, there I go. There I am, right there. I don't know what the night's gonna bring because I don't even know. I'm sure they have a calendar, but I'm too lazy to look for it. If somebody wants to look it up, feel free to do so. But I'm not gonna do it. So let me see. All right. Hopefully, the audio earlier when we were on, the audio was a bit off. So hopefully, that's not the same case here. For anybody that's wondering, these are live. These are happening in real time. I was able to come across the stream today, and fortunately, it is working. I looked up. Somebody mentioned earlier on that in some other states, in New York, possibly they have night court. Also, I was able to find night court in New York, but it says on there that it says important here are prohibited from recording video, audio, or taking photos or screenshots during a video proceeding. See section blah 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 whatever. So I won't be trying that in New York. I have found other states that and they have the same thing going, and they have the same type of language before you click into their streams. Arizona, for whatever reason, they don't have those that wording when it comes to their streams. So that's one of the reasons that I do stream the Arizona ones, because I'm not losing any sleep over that state coming and knocking on my door for streaming these hearings. Another one that doesn't have any wording like that would be Texas, or at least Judge Boyd and David. I forget his last name, and there's one other dude. I forget his name also. But if you guys watch this type of content, you guys know exactly who I'm talking about, right? Right. All right. So we're about 3 minutes away. How is everybody doing with the whole TikTok blackout, not being able to go live? I was trying to be a bit proactive, and I ended up opening up. I had a SIM card from the UK. Oh, I hear something. All right. It looks like we might be getting ready a few minutes early. Or maybe not. Anyhow, so yeah, I had this SIM card from this carrier that from Britain, which is that goes by the name of GiveGaff, and on the 19th I was able to activate that card, and then I set up a VPN, and I was able to open up a UK based TikTok account. So I've been able to while my US account went dark, I was able to still surf TikTok on that account. But
all right, wake up. If you're asleep, wake it up. The judge is about to be in the courtroom. You'll need to rise.
You know what?
What?
Still. We get it out there about 15 minutes. Is it the judge's property?
Yes.
All right, you get ready to come in, I'll say all rise and I'll stand up.
all right, well, we know that. All rise. The Honorable Judge James. I wonder if it's going to be the same.
You may be seated.
Is it going to be the same judge as earlier on? Because if it is, she might be a little bit more crankier than earlier on, which was, like 3 hours ago? All right, we got some different bailiffs now. At least one.
Good evening. This is the time set for the 11 p.m. calendar on January 19th, 2025. The court's orders for taking of DNA and fingerprints that were given on the first calendar of this month shall apply to all matters on this calendar. I'll call you each one at a time to the podium, and I'll provide a second name to sit in the chair right outside of this room. If we can start with Mr. Zuniga to the chair and Mr. Torres, or excuse me, Mr. Zuniga to the podium and Mr. Torres to the chair. Good evening. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Luis Zuniga, February 12, 2001.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we are here on a... I'm sorry?
Oh, there it goes.
Okay. You couldn't hear me for a second? Okay. Thank you for that. We're here today on a grand jury warrant. It looks like it's for an offense date of September 3rd, 2022, and it includes one count of manslaughter and one count of aggravated assault.
Yes.
I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you and give you a hearing in the downtown Superior Courthouse.
Okay.
You'll have an arraignment hearing on January 28th, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. I am affirming the bond that was set on the grand jury warrant, which is a cash-only appearance of $100,000. If you do post that bond, you'll be released from custody and you'll have written conditions you need to comply with, and then you'll need to ensure you attend that hearing. Did you have any questions?
Is there anything else I could do, like to go with that process of being released, or is there any other anything I can do? Like,
so there's nothing tonight because it's a grand jury warrant. It's sealed, and I don't have any information relating to the facts of the case. I just have the information I provided you.
Okay.
The people that were privy to the information set this bond. I am appointing an attorney to you, and I am setting a hearing on January 28th. Once you meet with your attorney will have an opportunity to present information to the court at that time, who will have more information to determine whether or not a different bond should be set if you don't post it prior to that hearing on January 28th.
Okay.
Anything else, sir?
Is that all my resources I have for?
Can you say that one more time?
Is that all my resources I have?
Meaning as far as posting the bond?
Yeah, like.
It is a cash-only bond. However, there are some bail bonding companies that will do with larger bonds like this that will allow you to work with them to post the bond.
Okay.
So in the back, when you get there, there's usually a list of phone numbers next to the phones. You can call them, let them know that you do have a cash bond, and see which ones would potentially work with you to sign a contract to get that posted if you don't have the cash yourself.
So there's like ways that I could like go about that. There's like I have help.
There are certain bonding companies that will do it even on the cash ones. I don't know which ones they are, so you'll probably have to call a couple different ones on there and explain to them what your bond is, and then see what the contract and terms are of that if you want to enter into a contract with them to have them posted if you can't post it on your own.
Okay.
Anything else?
That'd be it.
Okay, so sit to your left. They'll give you your paperwork.
There you go.
Mr. Torres to the podium.
Hey, so one of his charges.
Mr. Decker to the chair.
One of his charges was manslaughter, right? The second one, I wasn't clear on that one. Can somebody confirm?
Good evening, sir. Can I get your name and date of birth?
My name is Alvaro Torres Maldonado, January 3rd, 1997.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we have two cases on the calendar here this evening. The first one comes in with some new Superior Court charges. We've got one count of aggravated assault, a Class 2 felony, one count of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, a Class 4 felony, one count of possession of a weapon in a drug offense, a Class 4 felony, one count of dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and one count of carrying a weapon in the commission of a felony, a Class 6 felony. For purposes of tonight only, I am not finding probable cause as to the dangerous drug possession or the possession of a weapon in a drug offense. The purpose of that is the substance they found on you was not tested, and so I don't know what that substance was. With that being said, they could test it and move forward with moving forward on those charges. I'm finding probable cause tonight on all the other charges, and I'm appointing counsel to represent you. You're going to have a status conference on January 24th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on January 28th at 8:30. In this case, you have a secured appearance bond of $25,000. You have a second case on the calendar, and it does look like you're on probation, and they've alleged you violated probation by violating terms 6, 7, and 12 of your probation.
Right.
I'm going to appoint an attorney in that case as well and set a probation revocation hearing. That'll take place on January 27th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $250 in that case. So your total bond is $25,250. Did you have a question?
Yeah, so I had my girlfriend call them and stuff. Is there any way I can get out on pretrial services? Because, like, literally, I don't know how to explain it to you. I don't know how many times you had people come in here in and out, tell you, oh, I was going to go to rehab. Now I was literally trying to go to rehab. I have a substance abuse problem. I really do. My girlfriend's been a big, huge support on her side, like really big, huge support. She just told me to ask to see if maybe pretrial services was available, so that way she can bond me out today.
So pretrial services is not available due to the new charges that you picked up. I do have to consider 15 factors, and when I considered those, I also considered the state's recommendation, and they were asking for a $50,000 bond. So I did reduce that by half, and I set a $25,000 bond. Because it is secured, you can use a bail bonding company, which means it's typically about 10% plus collateral. So that is one option to potentially have your bond posted in order to be released from custody.
So it was the bond right now is $25,000.
Yeah, $25,250. So you're looking at about $2,500. Again, each bonding company is a little bit different, so you have to contact them. They could range a little bit, but the typical is about 10%.
You said $25,000 or $2,500?
The secured bond is $25,000. So if you pay 10%, that's about $2,500.
Oh, okay.
Okay. If you do end up posting that bond, you do have written conditions of release, and that does include contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. I gave you 3 hearing dates that are coming up in the downtown Superior Courthouse. You'll need to make sure you attend those to avoid any failure to appear warrants and forfeiture of that bond if you do post it, okay?
Okay.
Any questions?
So I can't bond out today?
If you post that bond, you'll be released. I mean, it's 11 o'clock at night, so it'll probably early tomorrow, but yes.
All right.
Okay?
That's it.
Thank you. If you step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork.
He ain't going nowhere.
Mr. Decker to the podium and Mr. Duran to the chair. Good evening, sir. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Danny Glenn Decker, Jr., 12/11/1975.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we have 3 cases on the calendar. It does look like you're on probation in 3 cases. And they've alleged you violated terms 3, 4, and 5 in each of your probation cases. I'm going to appoint an attorney in each of those cases and set a probation revocation hearing, and that will be on January 27th at 8:30 a.m. In 2 of your cases, you have a secured appearance bond of $2,500. In the 3rd case, you have a secured appearance bond of $500. So your total bond is $5,500. If that bond is posted, you'll have written conditions of release. It does include contacting your probation officer within 72 hours, and then make sure you attend that hearing to avoid a failure to appear warrant and forfeiture of that bond. Dates, times, and location will be listed in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
No, yeah.
Okay, if you'll step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork, sir. Mr. Duran to the podium and Mr. Garcia to the chair.
I think they might have found them.
Michael Duran, 4/1983.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we have 2 cases on the calendar. Looks like they're both failure to appear warrants. Looks like you missed some hearings. I'm going to affirm the attorneys that were previously appointed to represent you in those cases.
Okay.
And I'm going to set a status conference on January 24th at 8:30 a.m.
Okay.
and a preliminary hearing on January 28th at 8:30 a.m. Those dates apply to both cases. And you have a secured appearance bond of $2,500 in each of those cases for a total of $5,000. It is a secured appearance bond, meaning you can use the bail bonding company. If you do bond out, you'll have written conditions of release. And then the dates, times, and location for those hearings will be listed in your paperwork. You need to attend those to avoid a future failure to appear warrant and forfeiture of any bond that you do post.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, if you'll step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Mr. Garcia to the podium and Mr. Begay to the chair.
Where you at? Where you at?
Good evening, sir. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Paul Garcia, 8477.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we're here on a new Superior Court case. It does include 1 count of theft means of transportation, a Class 3 felony, 1 count of criminal damage, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 count of criminal trespass, a Class 2 misdemeanor. Probable cause has been found, and I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. You're going to have a couple hearings in the downtown Superior Courthouse. You'll have a status conference on January 24th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on January 28th at 8:30. I am setting a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,500 in this case. That does mean you can use a bail bonding company. If you do post bond, you have written conditions of release. It does include no contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses, and no returning to the scene of any of alleged crime. The paperwork will include the date, time, and location for those hearings. You'll need to ensure you attend that to avoid any failure to appear warrants and forfeiture of any bond you post. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, if you'll step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Begay to the podium.
Man, it's like they picked
And
up
Mr. Tandy to the chair.
Night of the Living Dead tonight.
Good evening, sir. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Peter Brigay, 7/15/86.
Thank you. It does look like you're here on a warrant from Coconino County Superior Court. They have indicated that they do want to extradite you back. I am going to appoint counsel. That will take place at your next hearing in Coconino County Superior Court. I'm going to give you an arraignment hearing on January 23rd at 8:30 a.m. You do have a secured appearance bond in this case of $2,000, so that does mean you can use a bail bonding company. If you do bond out, you'll have written conditions of release, but then you'll need to make sure you get to that hearing that will take place in Coconino County on January 23rd. Date, time, and location will be listed in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay, if you'll step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Tandy to the podium and Mr. Neese.
I like
to
the flow.
chair.
I like the flow here. She keeps it moving. And you know what? And she's pretty helpful. You know, that first guy that came up, you know,
Good
she was
evening, sir. Can
she
I
was
get your
walking
name
him
and
through.
address?
Terrence Tandy, March 24th, 1990.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like you have 3 cases on the calendar. The first one comes in with new charges coming out of the Buckeye Municipal Court. Looks like it includes 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession and 1 count of shoplifting removal of goods, both Class 1 misdemeanors. I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you in this case, and I'm going to set an arraignment hearing in the Buckeye Municipal Court on January 29th at 1 p.m. In this case, you'll have a secured appearance bond of $50. It does look like you're also here on a couple probation violation warrants that were issued. They've alleged you violated terms 3 and 5 of your probation in each of your cases. I'm going to appoint counsel in those cases as well and give you a probation revocation hearing on January 27th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $100 in one probation case and $1,000 in the other. That means you have a total secured appearance bond of $1,150 between your 3 cases. You can use a bail bonding company. If you do post that bond, you'll have written conditions of release, and it will include contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. Dates, times, locations will be listed in your paperwork. Did you have any questions? Okay, if you'll step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork, sir. Mr. Neese to the podium and Mr. Moore to the chair.
And for anybody wondering, they hold these every single day. They don't take a break. Holidays, weekends, Mother's Day, every day. They have these hearings, which I find kind of interesting.
Can I get your name and date of birth?
It's Charles Neese, ma'am, 10/1/95.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we're here on 2 cases. First one comes in with some new charges for the Superior Court. We have 1 count of dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony, and 1 count of criminal damage, a Class 1 misdemeanor. Probable cause has been found, and I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you. You're going to have some hearings in the downtown Superior Courthouse, with the first one being a status conference on January 24th at 8:30, and a preliminary hearing on January 28th at 8:30. In this case, you have a secured appearance bond of $250. If you post that bond, you have written conditions of release, and it does include not returning to the scene of the crime and no contact with any alleged victims, witnesses, or complainants. You have a second case on the calendar, and it looks like that's a warrant out of the Peoria Municipal Court. It looks like that's related to a drug paraphernalia charge. I'm going to appoint counsel in this case as well and give you a hearing in the Peoria Municipal Court. That will take place on January 23rd at 9 a.m. You have a $50 secured appearance bond in this case. Between the 2 cases, it's a total of $300. Again, if you do post bond, you'll have written conditions of release on both cases. The hearings will take place in different courts because one is in the municipal court, one is in the Superior Court. Dates, times, locations will be in that paperwork, so keep those on you so you know what location you're headed to. Did you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. If you step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Mr. Moore to the podium and Mr. Ybarra to the chair.
Next. And next individual we got coming up, let's see what he is arrested or accused of. What do you guys think? Let's see.
Good evening. Can I get your name and date of birth?
This is John Moore, John Larry Moore Jr. Birthday is 1/6/72.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we're here on a new case out of the Superior Court. We have one count of unlawful flight from law enforcement vehicles, a Class 5 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. You're going to have a couple hearings in the downtown Superior Courthouse. You have a status conference on February 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on February 6th at 8:30. I am releasing you today to pretrial services. So here in a moment, you're going to get paperwork. It's going to include your written conditions of release. It's going to give you the date, times, and location of that hearing, as well as an envelope. In that envelope, please read all the instructions in it and contact pretrial services once you're released.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions, sir?
No.
Okay, and we'll need to reprint this one. If you'll take a seat out there, they'll get you your paperwork.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, all right, Adam. Hey,
Mr. Ybarra to the podium.
Adam's
And
coming in.
Mr. Acosta to the chair.
He's coming in from Canada. He's our neighbor
Hello.
from up
Hello,
north.
can I get your name and date of birth?
Zachary Barra, 3789.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we're here on a new Superior Court case. We have two charges, one count of narcotic drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and one count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony.
Okay.
Probable cause has been found, and I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. I'm going to give you some hearings in the downtown Superior Courthouse on Madison Street. You'll have a status conference February 3rd at 8:30
Okay.
and a preliminary hearing February 6th at 8:30. I am releasing you today to pretrial services. When you get your paperwork, it will include your written conditions of release, date, times, and location of those hearings. It will also include an envelope. Read all of the instructions in the envelope and contact pretrial services once you've been released from custody.
Okay.
Did you have any questions?
No questions.
Okay, if you step to your left, they'll hand you that paperwork.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Acosta to the podium and Mr. Rush to the chair.
And what do you guys think Mr. Acosta is accused of? Let's see. You gotta type fast.
Good evening,
'cause,
sir. Could I get your name and date of birth?
My name is Alfonso Acosta, September 14, 1990.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we're here on a new Superior Court case, and it does include one count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony, two counts of resisting arrest, passive resistance, Class 1 misdemeanor, and two counts of failure to obey a police officer, a Class 2 misdemeanor. For purposes of tonight only, I am not finding any probable cause as to the drug paraphernalia. That does not mean that the charge is dismissed. The state might move forward with those charges.
Okay.
But for tonight only, I'm only finding probable cause to the other counts. I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you and give you some hearings in the downtown Superior Courthouse. You're going to have a status conference on February 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on February 6th at 8:30. I am releasing you today on your own recognizance. That's your promise to appear at those hearings. Your paperwork is going to include your written conditions of release along with date, times, and location for those hearings. Did you have any questions, sir?
No, ma'am.
Okay, if you step to your left, they'll hand you your paperwork. Thank you.
How many of you
Mr.
think?
Rush to the podium and Mr. Solorio to the chair.
How many of you think he'll be back by the morning? I think. I don't think he's gonna last out there that long. I'm sure they see a lot of that when they let somebody out, and the next thing they know, they're back. They're back
Good
a few
evening.
back
Could I get your
later.
name and date of birth?
Richard Rashby, 474.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we're here on a warrant coming out of the Santan Justice Court. It looks like you failed to appear at a hearing in August of 2024, and it relates to a charge of driving with a license that was suspended, revoked, or canceled. Due to the nature of your charges, you're not entitled to court-appointed counsel, but you can hire one at your own expense.
Okay.
I'm going to give you an arraignment hearing in the Santan Justice Court on February 4th at 9 a.m.
Okay.
I am going to release you today on your own recognizance that you're promised to appear at that hearing. Your paperwork is going to include written conditions of release along with the date, time, location, and phone number for the Santan Justice Court. Did you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, if you step to your left, they'll hand you your paperwork.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what? I
Mr.
couldn't.
Solario to the podium and Mr. Williams to the chair.
I couldn't imagine being in jail for driving with a suspended license. That just blows my mind. But hey, I mean, they gotta, milk
Good evening.
as
Can I get your
money.
name and date of birth?
Ramon Solorio, October 1883.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we're here on some new charges coming out of the Goodyear Municipal Court. It includes one count of shoplifting, removal of goods, a a Class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 count of shoplifting concealment, a Class 1 misdemeanor. Due to the nature of your charges, you're not entitled to court-appointed counsel, but you can hire one at your own expense. I'm going to give you a hearing in the Goodyear Municipal Court for an arraignment hearing on February 5th at 1 p.m.
Okay.
I am going to release you today on your own recognizance that you promised to appear at that hearing. The paperwork is going to include your written conditions of release, and that does include not returning to the scene of the crime, no contact with any alleged witnesses, victims, or complainants. It will also include the date, time, location, and phone number for that hearing. Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay, just up to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Thank you, sir. Mr. Williams to the podium.
I wonder how come they don't give you a lawyer for certain offenses. I find that kind of odd, but hey, I guess they do things differently out in Arizona.
Good evening. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Julian Williams, September 3rd, 1993.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we're here on a new charge coming out of the University Lakes Justice Court. It's for 1 count of criminal trespass in the 2nd degree, a Class 2 misdemeanor. Probable cause has been found. However, due to the nature of your charges, you're not entitled to court-appointed counsel, but you can hire one at your own expense. I'm going to set a hearing in the University Lakes Justice Court for an arraignment hearing on February 4th at 1:30 p.m. I am releasing you today on your own recognizance that you promised to appear at that hearing. Your written conditions of release will include not returning to the scene of the crime and no contact with any alleged victims, witnesses, or complainants. The paperwork will also include the date, time, and location of that hearing, as well as the University Lakes Justice Court's phone number. Did you have any questions?
I just wanted to know if that's in Tempe.
Let me look. It's in Chandler. Looks like it's on Chicago Street. It might be in downtown Chandler. I can look it up. It's 201 East to Chicago Street.
In California, they give you a lawyer for everything.
Yeah, it looks like it's right in downtown Chandler, off of like Arizona Avenue and Chandler Boulevard area is the crossroads for your court hearing. Any other questions?
What is the date for that?
The date for that is going to be on February 4th at 1:30 in the afternoon. So it's a couple of weeks from today.
Damn.
I'm getting paperwork for that?
Yes, so the paperwork we're going to hand you when you exit here in a minute, it's going to include the date, times, and the address for that hearing. So you'll have that. So keep that on you so that way you know where you're going and you'll know the date and time.
I just want to know the legitimate way to go about that, that's all.
I'm sorry?
I'm just trying to figure out the legitimate way to go about that.
Okay. Yeah, so just keep that paperwork. It will have everything on there that you need along with your written conditions of release.
Oh, all right.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, if you'll step to your left, they'll hand you that paperwork. Okay, sir?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I like this lawyer.
That concludes our 11 p.m. calendar. We will
What?
now stand in recess until the 5 a.m. calendar.
5 a.m.? What the what? All right. So for anybody that's interested in she does. Compared to the other judge that was on a little bit earlier on, the other judge was just trying to get out of there. Let me see. So she said 5 a.m. Well, on the website it says that they should have a 2 a.m. one. So my time, that 5 a.m. one is gonna be 4 a.m. because we're an hour behind. For that one, I'm not gonna be up. For that one, I'm gonna be sleeping. But it looks like there is another one. They do another one at 8 a.m., which is Arizona time, so 7 here. That one most likely I will be up for that one. So I'll be back in the morning for that one. And then I thought that we were gonna do, because I normally do parole board hearings Monday through Friday. But apparently tomorrow is a holiday, so we won't be doing any parole board hearings tomorrow. But since I came across this website here for the state of Arizona, I guess I'll be doing these streams for these court hearings throughout the day tomorrow. So anybody that's interested in stopping by, you're more than welcome to. And for anybody that's new here, like Tiffany. If you're wondering, what kind of information we put out or what kind of streams we do pretty much anything that has to do revolving the criminal justice system, whether it's, taking phone calls from incarcerated individuals in the state of California where they share their journeys with us, or sometimes we just, we're just having conversations. Also, we do video visits, releases when people get out and they let me know and they're willing, for me to capture that moment with them. I go down there. Also, we do parole board hearings, all across the United States, all the way from as far east as Colorado, and as far as west as Oregon, and anything in between there. And if you're wondering and curious what state those are, let me go ahead and bring up my list here, and I'll name off a few of them, or all of the ones that I got here. We do Utah, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Iowa, Ohio, Vermont, Minnesota, Oregon, Kansas, Illinois. Oh, we got one for Kansas coming up on the 23rd. I got to make sure I'm registered for that. And then sometimes we'll do Louisiana. Kansas, man. No. The one that I came across last week, which was a new one, Kentucky. Hey, those Kentucky ones. I'm not sure if you guys have seen those Kentucky hearings, but those board of members, they definitely ask a lot of good questions, and they don't beat around the bush as far as what these individuals are incarcerated for, which I do find interesting. In other states, they really don't get into like their crimes and why they did them and this, that, and the other. In Kentucky, they do. So we're going to be having some hearings on Thursday. So if you checked out our Thursday our Kentucky stream last week, you're definitely not going to want to miss out on this one. Hopefully they allow me to go in, and hopefully nobody's reported me to the state of Kentucky, because they did that to me in Oregon, and it's all bad. Anyhow, I do appreciate you guys. I'll be back tomorrow, and you are watching. You have a collect call from. I am James, and like I say around here, life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, lights out. And with that, we are out. And don't forget, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Hey, David, man, you missed it, man. They just cut it off. Let me see. Danny, Kansas Owner Association meets next level. What? You know what I'm saying? All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the stream. But hey, always remember, hey, if you enjoy these type of streams, leave a comment on the videos. Hit the subscribe button. Hey, sharing is caring. Also, share them to your friends and family. And to subscribe, it doesn't cost you anything. It's free $99. I'm not asking for any donations or any money or anything like that. And I'm just asking for a little bit of your time if you do find this, these type of streams interesting. So hey, but you could rewind it back. It'll be on the live stream. I'll be back tomorrow. I think the next stream is gonna be up tomorrow. And I'll catch you tomorrow if you're available. All right.